Everybody wants to be us. These are exact words of Miranda Priestly from the original The Devil Wears Prada. And this is how I will open my review for The Devil Wears Prada 2. Let's crack it. The pulse, what is behind worth talking about. This is one of these long time overdue and awaited sequels, a nostalgia film. The story focuses on Miranda Priestly and her struggle to adapt to modern times that are no more longer respectful, tolerant, and supportive towards the old ways. From the background perspective, this is one of these safe bets that producers do or use to obviously make money. Instead of creating new risky project that might be a box office failure, with the star power and the stars returning from the original film, this is usually an easy money and guaranteed success. The film, original one, was released in 2006, so the gap is 20 years. We had already quite a few films like Top Gun, Jurassic World, or Star Wars The Force Awakens that were released many years after the original one, and these movies definitely proven that this is a very good recipe for success. How The Devil Wears Prada 2 will land here? It's hard to say. We obviously have the numbers from the first weekend already. But for comparison, let's talk about the number one for a little. The first movie cost 35 millions and made almost 10 times the budget. So the second film, with a budget around 100 millions plus marketing cost, the expectations definitely were much bigger. And the movie had very good and strong start. It already made almost 250 millions worldwide in the one weekend. So it will start giving the profit after the second one. How it will work? Does that mean this film is a good movie? Well, stay with me and you will know soon. The feeling. So, not to go too much into the spoilers of this review itself, the feeling is a bit tricky for me because I was wondering how to not to turn this into the shadow and the critique. And why is that? I will explain just in a moment. The first film for me had something interesting. It had this personality, style, the character. There was something underneath, apart from the drama and the fashion and all the glamour that the old film or films have. And the original Devil Wears Prada had that thing. That's something that kept me engaged. That I was watching it and even rewatching it on some occasions. So it had this feeling that I was looking for in the second film. But sadly, I didn't find that feeling. The second film, yes, it has the nostalgia. It's trying to recreate or bring back the iconic moments and the characters. It works mostly through the memory and operate around that nostalgia, trying to bring back something what once was really great, but in my opinion, it fails because it does not deliver the feeling I was waiting for. Here, I was actually feeling a bit bored and sleepy on some occasions. So I'm not really satisfied in the most important, basically, part. This what gives me this momentum, this something that after leaving the cinema, I can reflect on, I can relive, I can sit and focus how I felt, how great I felt watching the film. And I didn't get it here. I walk out from this film and, to be honest, I don't think so I would ever want to come back. The craft. Obviously, when the story fails or is not interesting because it does not give the feeling, for me that's definitely a sign of the movie that is in trouble. But that doesn't mean that the film is bad or weak or not interesting. It still might be good enough for the wider audience, but not for someone like me who is looking for something more or who wants to connect to the story or to the characters. The movie like this that does not have a good story, but everything else works perfectly fine with the great star power, with a good cast. This film can definitely defend itself. And if it will make money, the producers definitely will do not care that some of the people didn't like the story or the how the story was told. Director, I think his best work was the first movie. And for me, he didn't definitely manage to recreate his recipe. Everything else, the music, scenography, costumes, all works perfectly fine. But it's not enough to get me to the level of satisfaction. The idea or a hunting what if. And my question is what if this film would be different? What if it actually would take a risk and try to do something new? Or even follow the steps of the original film, but it doesn't. The idea was there, the potential was there, but it was definitely not explored and not used. I really like what they were trying to show here. This old icon that is struggling in the new modern world that does not fear her anymore. The old power that only just get older. But there is no dive into the struggle. There is no dive into the change that the movie is talking about. It's more like they're touching the surface of the problems, but they do not go deep enough to make it worthwhile, to make it basically interesting. And that is why the idea fails. The moment. The film has few scenes, some sweet moments that make me laugh or nod and smile. The movie tried to rise and get somewhere, but unfortunately it stays on the one level and does not go above and beyond. There's no scene for me that would be groundbreaking, that would define the movie or the characters. The first film had that thing, had the iconic moments or scenes that basically put in our mind the story or the characters we are watching. Here, I didn't find something like that. There is no one scene or moment I can recall or would like to come back. Nothing to mention or to celebrate. And this is the sad truth. Another one about this film. The feeling does not deliver. The craft is solid, but without this extra. The idea not used and the moment not there. So let's move to the shadow. As you noticed, there is quite a few things missing in this movie for me. I think there's no personality, there's no character, there's no style. This film is too soft, too polite. It's basically very weak. And everything that the first movie had is missing here. It's almost like this film is a reflection of the modern times we live in when everybody is afraid of speaking the truth or be provocative or do something that doesn't go with the flow. And this film kind of try to elevate, change the world of the first movie by doing so, basically erase all the best was the first film had. There's no this kind of transition from the first to the second film. It's more like watching a bit of extension of the first film, but nothing more. There's no close, nothing that would actually shaken me or made me feel something really interesting. This is definitely the first biggest disappointment of the year. I didn't put this movie on my most anticipated films of 2026 list because I had this kind of feeling or intuition that it might not belong there. And I believe I was very much right about it. I still believe that this film will be a success because the nostalgia usually is a guaranteed success. The movie will make enough money, maybe even to consider another one in the next few years. But that will not change a bit about how I feel about The Devil Wears Prada 2. You may still like this film and enjoy it because it's a simple kind of movie just made to feel good, I would say. But I wanted from this one something more because I like really the first one. And I had definitely much bigger expectation towards the story and how this movie will make me feel. My score 6 out of 10. As always, if you like my content, if you like my reviews, please subscribe, follow, click a like, and leave a comment in the section. What do you think about The Devil Wears Prada 2? Thank you, take care, bye bye.